All right, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. Today, I just want to show you guys how I journal every single trade. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty quick video. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So first things first, I use Google Sheets to journal every single trade. I know there's actual trading like platforms and websites you can use, but I just like to keep it simple. It's worked for me ever since I started trading. So this is what I use. So I literally just have a couple lines, right? So the date, all right, what day did we take the trade? What kind of model do you use? For example, I have 3 different models I use, and who knows what models you guys have, but I have my pre-distribution model, I have my gap model, and I just have a continuation model. So whatever model I use, I'll just throw into there. And then whatever confluences I use in the trade, right? Do we have an SMT? Do we have a fair value gap? Obviously, we have inversions. Well, I have an inversion because that's how I trade. So on and so forth. How much contracts did we risk, right? What was our take profit target? What was our stop loss? What was our RR? How did we feel during the trade? Okay. And then I have a tab that explains the entire trade in depth. This helps me like get clarity about it and see what I can do better. And then obviously the very last tab is what can I do better? And that is a brutally honest thing. You guys should be essentially brutally honest with yourself about, right? There's always something you can do better no matter what it is. So I'm going to show you guys a live example of today. I took this trade on October 2nd, and there's actually a trade recap about it. You guys can go watch it. But I ended up taking a long towards a unfilled 15-minute for value gap earlier. And what ended up happening? Well, market opened right about here, and we absolutely shit the bed to the downside, right? Well, then from here, what made me go long even though we had bullish structure right here? Well, what did we tap into? What was our confluences that were used, right? We had a unfilled 15-minute for value gap right here. That price ended up coming down respecting. We ended up taking out Asia lows that we created an SMT with. And then what else did we use? Or did we use in our favor, right? We had a 1-minute inversion right here with this red box right here. And then we also had a 2-minute inversion with this black box right here as well. Okay. And then what was our take profit? Well, our take profit area was this unfilled 15-minute gap. However, I was aiming for a 1-to-1 on this trade. So even though my take profit area was this unfilled 15-minute gap, I extended it just so I didn't have a negative RR trade. And then where was my stops at? Well, my stops were at the swing lows. Okay. So let's just go here real quick, back to our Google Sheets. And then what ended up happening? This is my actual journal I had from this morning. Okay. So what is the date today? Today is October 2nd. What kind of model did I use? I used a gap long model, right? Because I'm targeting an unfilled gap. And what am I doing? I'm going long. Okay, so I wouldn't say gap short because I'm not going short. It's a gap long because obviously I'm going long. What were the confluences that were used? Just went over it. We had an Asian SMT. We had a 15-minute for value gap. We had a 2-minute IFEG along with a 1-minute IFEG, right? Here's a 2-minute. Here's the 1-minute. Cool. How many contracts did I risk? I risked 1 mini across all my accounts. What was my take profit target? This should be an unfilled 15-minute gap. And then in parentheses is how much points it was worth, right? So it's actually 30.25 points. I don't know why. That says 43. But let's fix that real quick. So 30.25 points. Where was my stops at? My stops were at the swing lows right here. Okay. That was also 30.25. So that means my RR was a 1-to-1. What was my emotions during this trade? Well, I wrote setup was clean along with my entry. Got nervous when price hit the 15-minute and formed an internal SMT, so I full closed. And I actually full closed damn near right at the top right here. We had an SMT with this high that was created. All right, and then we ended up tapping into the 15-minute gap. All right, and then I have an explanation. Here is what it says. It says, as price shit the bed at market open, we came down sweeping out London and Asian lows where we created an SMT with Asia lows. We also tapped into a unfilled 15-minute bullish gap where I was then looking for an inversion to target an unfilled 5-minute and 3-minute gap. We got a 2-minute and 1-minute IFEG at the same time where I set my limit order at the 1-minute bullish for value gap, which would have been right here. Here's the 1-minute bullish for value gap, and I set my limit order right in there. Okay. From there, I got tapped into the order. And I went break even at the first unfilled 5-minute, and then I trailed stops as price trended higher. And I finally got stopped out in profit, which AKA means I full closed in profit, right? And then what could I have done better? I could have anticipated the 15-minute opening up sooner so I didn't go, oh shit, otherwise this trade would have played out perfectly, right? So my original targets were this unfilled 5-minute. And then there was also a 3-minute right here that I was going to trail aggressively once we hit this unfilled 5-minute. However, at that specific point in time, I didn't realize that this 15-minute gap was going to open up. So that's why I said right here, I should have anticipated the 15-minute gap opening up. That was something I could have worked on. So that is something I could do better. All right. That's literally all I do on a day-to-day basis. No matter what trade I take, this is all I do. So if you guys want, you guys can go ahead and screenshot this or pause the video and copy this into Google Sheets. Like I said, I know there's actual platforms and websites out there where you guys can journal your trades, but I just like to keep it very, very simple. And yeah, that's what I do on a day-to-day basis. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead, leave them down below. Free Discord is in the description down below, along with my TikTok, Instagram, all that. Go ahead, leave a like, subscribe if you guys want, and I'm out of here.